So welcome to the Lighthouse. So for this week's sessions, we're going to focus on the art of listening, which is a very important art to be cultivating during this time. And I think that as human beings, we very commonly listen from a habituated, even egoic place that is a comfortable place. But as practitioners, we want to develop skills around listening in simple, honest, and elemental ways. And so that's really what we're going to be checking out today in our meditations. And listening, it really is the first step in building a relationship between your body and your essence. Listening, it's the first step. And it's achieved not through the egoic mind, but it's achieved through the meditative mind. So I have pulled together a couple of meditations for us today that are going to help us with just that. So in the past many sessions, we've been tuning into what it means for us to be surfing this tsunami of change that's going on at absolutely every level, right? And as we look forward, it seems that we're just at the beginning of what could be described potentially as lingering in a deconstructed state. And so in my views, right now, it is more important than ever before to have a very robust relationship with listening. And listening from a place that is free of artifice and airs and any kind of facade. So these particular meditations, particularly the first one, is going to be long. So it's going to give you the opportunity to get down into the underbelly of your subconscious mind and to see some of those habituated structures from which you are potentially listening, and to create some purification at that very originative place, so that, again, if we are minded towards listening from a place that's free of airs or artifice or facade, that's going to empower us to activate those changes inside of us, so that we're listening to life, we're engaging with life, and then we're broadcasting our contributions into life from a place that is really clean. And I think that that's really one of the big medicines that is being asked for in humanity during this time. So before we actually do the meditations, I want to read to you a beautiful, it's a poem, but it's more of an invocation. And I can remember the day that I came in contact with this invocation as if it were just yesterday. One of my dance mentors in my early 20s, she had this pasted to her office door at UW, and I was a recent transplant to Madison, and I was studying dance with her, and I remember being so moved by these words. And I feel like this invocation, which is called the invitation, is something that I have been studying the words of for 20 years. And every time I tune in to these words, it helps me become a more honest, elemental, simplified listener. Because if you think about it, there's like 60,000 external thoughts that are vying for our attention and trying to skew our perception in absolutely every moment. So you may find that there's a stanza or two in this invitation that really inspires you as an individual to also listen more keenly. So this is what she has to say. It doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ache for, and if you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing. It doesn't interest me how old you are. I want to know if you will risk looking like a fool for love, for your dream, for the adventure of being alive. It doesn't interest me what planets are squaring your moon. I want to know if you have touched the center of your own sorrow, if you have been opened by life's betrayals, or if you have become shriveled and closed from fear of further pain. I want to know if you can sit with pain, mine or your own, without moving to hide it or fade it or fix it. I want to know if you can be with joy, mine or your own. If you can dance with wildness and let the ecstasy fill you to the tips of your fingers and toes without cautioning us to be careful or realistic or to remember the limitations of being human. It doesn't interest me if the story you are telling me is true. I want to know if you can disappoint another to be true to yourself, if you can bear the accusation of betrayal and not betray your own soul, if you can be faithless and therefore trustworthy. I want to know if you can see beauty even when it's not pretty, and if you can source your own life from that presence. I want to know if you can live with failure, yours or mine, and still stand at the edge of the lake and shout to the silver of the full moon, yes. It doesn't interest me to know where you live or how much money you have. I want to know if you can get up after the night of grief and despair, weary and bruised to the bone, and do what needs to be done to feed the children. It doesn't interest me who you know or how you came to be here. I want to know if you will stand in the center of the fire with me and not shrink back. It doesn't interest me where or what or with whom you have studied. I want to know what sustains you from the inside when all else falls away. I want to know if you can be alone with yourself and if you truly like the company you keep in the empty moments. I'm giggling because my dog is whining for a toy. I myself particularly respond, well, I love this whole invitation, but these last two stanzas, I want to know what sustains you from the inside when all else falls away. And I want to know if you can be alone with yourself and if you truly like the company you keep in the empty moments. I think these two stanzas are particularly relevant in the trajectory of becoming a more elemental and honest listener. As we become more, as we re-skill in our caliber and capacity to be comfortable even when we're uncomfortable. And that's really what is being asked of the human race right now, and hugely in America, I think right now, is to become more comfortable with being uncomfortable. So bear with me here for a second. I'm going to change our music and then I'm going to give you the meditation. So if you were in one of last week's meditations, I think it was Friday that we did this particular meditation, I gave you the Lam Vam Ram Yam Ham Sham Om mantra, which is a way of purifying these incredible crossroads, these epicenters in the physical organism. So we're going to do essentially the same practice, but we're going to be using a different sonic equation that comes from a different tradition. And so the sound equation is Ek Omkar Sat Nam Siri Wahe Guru. So it's the same thing. We're moving the sound current up the body as a way of waking up and integrating and elevating and harmonizing the radiance and the resonance of these power places in your body, okay? And I want you to really listen to yourself. Listen to yourself as you're practicing the mantra. Listening to oneself is an essential solution. It's an essential solution that one has to give to oneself. It's primary and it's always available, even if you're not using the technology of a mantra meditation. It's always there because we can listen. It's a secret practice that can always be going on the inside of our inside, and therefore help to create belonging in a meaningful way. So we're going to be using the mantra, which I'm going to sound with you for the duration of the meditation to hold the container. And then this mudra, this is a very old meditation and mudra that is the white swan meditation. So you're going to curl your index, middle, ring, and pinky fingers into the top of the hand while keeping the bent knuckles pointing north. And then you'll bring the pads of the thumbs together and then place the conjoined thumbs right above the bridge of the nose where your glasses might rest. And your elbows are going to be open to the side, and you're going to hover this. So for the first maybe minute to 3 minutes length of time, you're going to be in your mind. You're going to be thinking, and then something is going to change at the level of energy and essence. And at about minute 3, you're probably going to feel like something is holding you, and that you can experience a kind of elegant suspension where a lot of connections can be made. And so when I do this particular meditation, I like to think of the lineage of many, many practitioners throughout many centuries who have been tuning into this. Okay, so one quick thought about this particular mantra that we're going to do in a second. When you say ek onkar, kar, think about how you are sending these sounds into the vehicle of your human body, into the chariot, into the carriage of your body, and you're steering the ship, the car, in a more evolutional manner when it's charged by the sound current of the mantra. So I'm going to demonstrate this, and then we're going to do it all together. Let me turn this music up. You're going to be able to really get your footing with this because we're going to stay in it for a while, okay? Which is, again, to repeat myself, but it's going to give you the opportunity to get into the underbelly of the subconscious mind, which is what we're really interested in. If we want to truly have an evolutional relationship with a meditative mind, we've got to do some house cleaning of the subconscious, because it's the subconscious mind that's really running the show. So whenever you're ready, you can join in with me. Again, here is the mudra, the white swan mudra, and then here is the mantra. Join in with me when you're ready. Ek onkar satnam let it be clear, let it be confident, let it be bold. Ek onkar. Let the eyes stay closed down. Sat nam siri. From a simple, elemental, honest place, listening to yourself as the essential solution. Ek onkar Satnam Siri Soften your physical organism more. Take it deeper. Let the sound be longer. Ek Omkar Satnam going. I'm gonna get the dog what she's whining for. Keep this going. Satnam Siri Vaheguru Yek Omkar Satnam Let yourself be suspended, be held inside of the meditation. What is it that sustains you when all else falls away? Do you enjoy the company that you keep when you are alone in the empty moments. Tune into what it is that helps you listen more honestly, more simply, more elementally. A few more passages, recitations through the mantra. Press the thumbs together while relaxing absolutely everything else. Physical immunity, but again, toughening up the immunity to the 60,000 distractions every second that are knocking on the door of your mind. So we did an abbreviated iteration of this meditation. If you're ever curious to try, this is an incredible meditation to do first thing in the morning in the very early hours hours, you will be unrecognizably lucid on the other side of this meditation of sounding the ek, om, kar, sat, nam, siri, wahe, guru mantra, lifting the life force through and purifying the tattvas. We've been talking about this in the past week, purifying the elements inside of your physical substantive body that are characterized by earth and air and fire, water and ether, purifying the tattvas so that you can be more in harmony with the living systems of our planet. So we only had time for one of the meditations today, which is fine, because it's a very complete meditation. But it might, for the way forward, and being that we just on Saturday transitioned through the solar eclipse, the Ring of Fire solar eclipse, which was a very rare evolutional seed moment of turning. We passed through that, and we also transitioned into the sign of Cancer, which is a deep, nurturative, feminine time. And we've passed into the summer solstice. So as we're just at the dawning, heralding the beginning of a new season, it may be useful, fruitional, insightful for you to really tune in to what your particular and very personal liberation project is for this season. What is your liberation project? And maybe come at it from 3 different angles. From the lens of the athlete as your first angle. What are you doing consistently to take care of this vehicle so that you are a tool for Dharma, so that you are a tool, you are a bodhicitta tool, that every action and every attitude that you are generating is awakening you in a way that will enable you to service the awakening of every context that you show up in. Okay, so what are you doing at the level of being an athlete? How are you staying strong? Okay, so second angle to tune into regarding your personal liberation project for this season of summer is, what am I doing at the level of being a monk? How can I exist in a way that is a little less attached to the illusions and to the stuff and to the stress of my worldly existence? And how can I be living more so from a place that is impulsed by the deathless part of one's own original nature, and by the whole of existence as well. So tuning in at the level of inquiry to how you can refine your inner monkhood a little bit more. And then lastly, regarding your personal liberation project for this season of summer, asking yourself, how can I listen from the place of a sage and live from the place of an inner sage a little bit more so? So your inner sage is the part of you that is incredibly and undeniably ripened through experiential wisdom. Everything that has been kind of put in your electromagnetic field because of the experiences that have been brought to you and the experiences that you have endeavored to have for yourself. Okay, so tuning in to this personal liberation project from the level of the athlete, the monk, and the sage. Remember, it's a gift to exist. Stay tuned in that way at the level of listening, which is the essential solution that one has to offer oneself at all times. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate your presence. I hope to see you tomorrow for a Qigong gathering. And in closing, make sure that you're always holding space in your psyche for the the four keys for vast awareness. And that first key is the key of infinite love. The second key is the key of infinite compassion. The third key is the key of empathic joy. And the fourth key is the key of impartiality. So just kind of hold those in the pocket over your heart, in your vest, as you move through the rest of your day. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much. Sat Nam. Namaste.